Okay, welcome to newspaper analysis session for July 28th. So topics that we are going to cover today. We will also study about the IRNSS, Regional Navigation Satellite System of India. Similar to the GPS, we have also developed a kind of navigation system, but it is a regional navigation system. So we'll try to understand more about it. Is it operational or not? Why is it not operational? What kind of challenges we are facing in that, and what is the need of it? So that is the most important topic. Already UPSC has asked questions in that, both in the prelims as well as the mains. It is back in the news, so this is a most potential area. Apart from that, there are also news on a drone which can launch missile. So recently we have seen about the drones. Drones itself can become a kind of bombers, and drones primarily used for the surveillance, radars, all these things, all these activities. Now drones are also going to launch the missiles. It was tested by the DRDO. So we'll try to see about it, and I have also included the questions that can be asked from that area. UPSC has asked different types of the questions on the topic of the drones. So I will show you those questions. So once we see the PYQs, you will also understand how you have to fine tune your preparations, especially for the current affairs. So some things when we study, you might think this is not relevant, this is not that important. But when you see the PYQs, then you will understand how you should focus, how you should fine tune the preparation. Every exam has its own demand. So it is just that you need to change your perspective according to the requirement. That's what we need to do. Again, some very important topic on the why the coconut oil prices are rising. So this article I am discussing it for the second or third time. Previously also I have discussed why the coconut oil prices are rising on the same thing we have discussed. So again this thing is in the news. So we need to see from the geography point of view as well as from the economy point of view. So basically agriculture, cropping pattern, these things are overlapping in the geography as well as the economy. So we'll look at those things from both the geography as well as the economy point of view. And then apart from this, there was a discussion on a website vulnerability towards the cyber scams. Using this opportunity, we'll look into some of the institutions that are working for the cyber security, especially in the India. Okay, so we will try to look at those institutions, which are the institutions that are looking about the critical infrastructure, cyber critical infrastructure. So we will try to understand those things, who are the agencies that are involved in the coordination of the cyber security. Then we will also talk about the very important topic, glacial lake outburst. This is causing the floods, glacial lake outburst floods, GLOF. This is very rising important phenomena because of the global warming. Okay, especially this happens in the glacier areas because of the burst of the lakes. Generally in the glacier areas, in the land, different types of the landforms are created. So these are areas where because of the melting of the glaciers and all, some kind of lakes and nearby a kind of a landform gets created. But generally what happens is because of this global warming, rising climate uncertainties and all, these are getting melted or some kind of dam break is happening. Dam is a natural dam. Okay, the barriers are built naturally, the moraines. Okay, they are deposited there and they are forming as a kind of lake. So we'll try to understand the topic. This is also happening frequently, causing the floods, especially in the Nepal and even in the India. You have seen this thing in the Sikkim. So they are causing havoc, the people lying in the low-lying areas. So we need to understand how these floods are caused and all. So that is also very important. And then there is a news on the POSCO Act. Previously also I have discussed this article. Okay, you were the same court movie. Okay, so they were talking about, there was a viewpoint like it is as it has shown in the movie. So should we change the legal age and should we legalize, or we should allow or give some kind of exemption to the consensual sexual activity even within the age group less than the 18. So this article is trying to discuss about it. There are views on both the sides. We'll try to understand about that concept as well. Chalo, we'll start our discussion. So first important article is India's Defence Research Developmental Organization has successfully tested an advanced missile called the Unmanned Air Vehicle Launch Precision Guided Missile. So basically we are trying to launch a missile using the unmanned air vehicle. Okay, so these UAVs are not very heavy. So accordingly we will also be launching a small range missile system. So this is the point that you need to understand. Unmanned Aerial Vehicle Launch Precision Guided Missile, V3. Okay, the trials happened recently at the testing in the Kurnool in the Andhra Pradesh region. The upgraded version is this thing. See here, key features, it uses a high definition dual camera seeker to hit different types of the targets accurately. Comes with the 3 warhead choices, anti-armor to destroy the tanks with the strong protection, penetration cum blast to break through the bunkers, pre-fragmentation creates a large damage area. has a two-way communication link to update the target after the launch, works in flatlands or high mountain areas, both the day and nights. Okay, the important thing is it is being developed by the DRDO, and it also includes Adani Defense and also Bharat Dynamics Limited, and that is small business startups. So basically, using the UAVs, you are also going to launch some kind of missiles. This is the point, and the range will be also smaller. Basically, they cannot launch the heavy missiles like your Apache helicopters or any kind of Sukhoi or Tejas. Okay, these are the heavy aircrafts. Okay, they can launch heavy size missiles, but this is not the same scenario with this kind of things. Okay, so that is the question. So now try to answer this question. We have discussed previously also various things on the UAVs. Now I am going to show you two questions on these UAVs, how the questions will be asked from these areas. It is not that difficult. Have the confidence, whatever you have studied so far, you can utilize that knowledge. Not so far, I meant by the same article. Okay, previously what we have discussed on the topic of the UAVs, you can solve these things. So basically, what are these UAVs? Drones, unmanned air vehicles. Generally in the aircraft, there will be a pilot. Now these are operated from the remotely. Okay, these are called the unmanned air. That's why we are saying unmanned aircrafts. So they are basically, I'm giving you the revision. Okay, basically you don't need the pilot. So with this, using the drones, you can also involve these drones in the wars. So any kind of damage happens, it is not going to kill the human being that is driving it. So that way we have taken a warfare to the next level using the technology, right? That has happened between the Russia and the Ukraine and the Russia. Okay, we have seen there, and recently even during the Operation Sindoor, that has happened both the ends, India and the Pakistan. Okay, so use of the drones has happened. Apart from this, I have also told you various civilian applications are there for the drones apart from the military applications. Previously, we have utilized drones only for kind of capturing, recording, all those things, basically surveillance and all. Now the way the drones are being used have been evolved. So that can be used in the agriculture, in the medicine, in the emergency, in the disaster management, in the multiple areas. That aspect we have seen, as well as the military applications we have seen. So what kind of policies are there to regulate the drones? That also we have discussed. Okay, the Ministry of Civil Aviation and Director General of the Civil Aviation have released certain policy guidelines that we have seen. Okay, for every drone there should be a proper registration number. There are some fly zones and the no-fly zones. There is a particular height, altitude on which only they can fly. There are also restrictions where they cannot fly. There are certain things that we have discussed. We have also classified drones into the nano, heavyweight drones, all those things, and accordingly different types of the classification of the drones comes under different types of the regulations. We have seen these aspects. Now using that all the knowledge, try to answer this.
RC planes also come under here.
Which planes?
RC remote control planes.
So that's all called drone, unmanned air vehicles. So that's what, depending upon the size, we will say nano, micro, heavier size. So whenever it is remote control, we are calling as unmanned air vehicles. Okay, that are operated from the all this. So we are calling that as in a broad term, unmanned air vehicles. Depending upon the size and functionality, again we will classify those things. Here now answer this thing. With reference to the unmanned air vehicles, consider the following statements. All type of the UAVs can do the vertical landing. All type of the UAV. So vertical landing means just like, okay, helicopters and all, they do. Okay, all types of UAVs can do the automated hovering. All types of the UAVs can use battery only as a source of power supply. So answer based on our discussion and your common sense, everything. All three are right?
All three are wrong.
Two opposite answers. Totally opposite answers.
Like when the drone is concerned, all three are right.
How are you so sure all the types of the UAVs can do only vertical landing?
Can do vertical, of course.
Some of them
Drones can vertically land.
Okay, they'll do vertical landing. But are you so sure there is no technology in the world that does not utilize this vertical landing?
Drones are for vertical takeoff and landing.
Not necessary.
Avoid that space.
Yeah. Any other answers?
So what is hovering?
The movement, surveillance. Yeah. Oh, stopping at the one point, and they are doing that. Which of the with reference to UAVs, consider the following statements. So they have given 3 statements and which of them above are correct. So this is what they are saying. So only if one person is saying only one is correct, then so all the types of the UAVs can use battery only as a source of power supply. So is it necessary they use only battery? Can't they use any other thing? Fuel, aviation turbine fuel?
The weight will increase.
Ah.
We use fuel. Weight of
Battery.
So- Can't there be any other UAVs which can use?
we can understand.
Any guess? Any guess? Generally guess. Based on your analysis, based on your understanding, take the guess. I want you to take the guess. Only then your brain will entering into that questioning mode. So answer, guess. You guess.
That control module will use battery as a source of power.
Guess.
All three.
Is all 3 right? All 3 wrong? Only one. Right or wrong?
One అంటే ఏదో కూడా చెప్పాలి.
All 3? Correct.
Sir, only one అంటే ఏది correct గా చెప్పమా.
Which one?
Very important.
Huh?
First of all, options important. Only one or all. Question వాళ్ళు అడగ ఏది కావాలి.
Okay. See, answer is none of them are right. See, this is the extreme statement. Firstly, they are saying all the types of the UAVs can do the vertical landing. It is not necessary that there is no such a rule. I have never taught you. If that is such an important aspect, when I was teaching about your UAVs or drones, I would have taught you this is exception. See, no UAVs can do this thing. You would have heard it somewhere. The science and technology, somewhere you will listen to those things. We have discussed so many times about the UAVs. I would have given you at one point, see, no, all the UAVs are doing only this thing. You will not find any UAVs doing other thing, all these activities. They will run on only these things. I would have somewhere mentioned. Or any UPSC aspirant who is studying, they would have listened. Okay, so this is basically most of the UPSC aspirants will answer based on that general kind of thinking. They need not have gone through the real understanding of the concept. Okay, so sometimes when we apply the general knowledge and also there is a possibility, even in various YouTube videos also you might have seen through, okay, where they are operating the remotes, okay, they'll just take off, okay, need not be a vertically, okay, they will take off normally also, just like your flights and all those drones. There are those kind of drones as well. Okay, so the answer is none for this. See, your fixed wing UAVs need the runways.
Option 2.
So everything.
అంటే పవర్ అంటే మీరు ఒక ప్లేస్ లో పెట్టమంటారు. So many of the tools can do the same.
Many of them can do not everything. That's what he's saying. All of them do only this thing. This is what he's saying. Okay, so that is an extreme statement. All types of the UAVs can do the automated hovering. It's not necessary.
Sir, extra battery,
Hmm?
extra battery sources.
All types of the UAVs can battery only as a sources. Not necessary. Battery means fixed energy source. Okay.
Explanation of the
So there can be a solar energy. Okay, there can be any turbine fuels. I have not added the explanation. Okay, so that's what I am trying to say. There can be other turbine fuels, like we use in the aircrafts and all. Not necessarily battery. Battery is one type of the system you are using to generate the energy, stored energy. Battery is a stored energy. You can carry the fuels with yourself. So there are certain types of the UAVs where you can carry. It's not necessary for us to understand those examples where which UAV is doing that and all. But there are different types of the UAVs which you will find. Okay, they will doing different types of the diverse activities. Okay, whatever the civilian military functions I have told. So depending upon the purposes and requirement, they will perform the different types of the activities. Okay, not for every drone, it's not necessary to stand at one point and do this kind of thing. That's what they have. It has mentioned. Hoverings for the multi-rotor UAVs. Fixed wing cannot do these things. So that is depending upon the different types of the UAVs, you will find that particular kind of concept. Okay, now see this thing. This should be the at least doable. Consider the following activities: spraying pesticides on the crop field, inspecting the craters of the active volcanoes, collecting the breath samples from spouting whales for the DNA analysis. At present level of the technology, which of the above activities can be successfully carried out by using the drones? Based on the discussions which you have seen.
option is
Spraying pesticides to
yes.
inspecting the craters of the active volcanoes.
Yes, sir.
Third one, collecting the breath samples from the spouting wells for DNA analysis.
One is
It is all. Okay, that day maybe you might be absent. Okay, that day we have discussed. Okay, so all these things are possible. Okay, so they are using this kind of drones to do this kind of analysis and come out with the different types of the genetic studies and DNA studies they are doing.
weeds water. Weeds water. Water. Bike వచ్చినప్పుడు water.
You are not even watching movies properly. Huh?
Only బాలేమో.
Okay, startup 20. See, startup 20 engagement is happening. So now, why is this important? See, basically, in order to promote the startups in the G20, through G20, we have launched this event. When India was having the presidency in the G20, India has initiated a subgroup within the G20 that is called the Startup G20. Okay, this is one of the subgroups so basically in order to provide momentums to these startup companies. This is the one point that you have to understand. So first, coming to the basic point, what is this G20?
Group of 20 countries.
Yeah, group of 20 countries. Still we say 20, but basically there are totally 19 countries and European Union and African Union. So we consider them as a one grouping. So that's why 19 plus institutions as a one grouping, which has a EU and African Union. Totally 19 countries. So basically these are the 20 members group where we are trying to collaborate and cooperate for the welfare of the economy and proper working up of the financial institutions. We have seen 2008 global financial crisis, right? All the financial institutions has failed. And see, now today in the networked world, in a globalized world, if any crisis happens at one place, it will not be restricted only to that one particular point. So it will be transferred to the other countries. For suppose the people who have taken the loan from the USA banks, they will not sit and utilize the money there in the USA. They will come and invest in the India, or they will buy properties in India. They can do any kind of global activity. They might lend it to the people in the Europe, and the European people might invest in India. They may invest in Indian banks. So if one people or one institution, any one major institutions fail at one place, this impacts will be found on the other places of the world as well. Because this is called the globalization. Globalization means interconnectedness of the economy. The broader definition of the globalization is not just the economy, but polity and social, cultural events are also interconnected. So all these countries should work in a harmonious way. Previously, we only had the OECD countries and the G7 meetings and all. But this is not working because the population is rising, and even these developing countries' economies also play the role, and they are interconnected with the developed countries' economy. That's why we have introduced the G20 grouping, right? So that is a major purpose that you need to understand. So we are trying to go back to the basic of the G20. See, G20 is an intergovernmental forum comprising 19 sovereign countries, remember properly. Okay, not 20 sovereign countries. They might confuse you simply. 19 sovereign countries, the European and the African Union. So it is a collectively 1. 19 plus 1. 1 is a unit. Okay, which is a union. It can include African Union and the European Union. It focuses on coordinating the same point which I have mentioned, coordinating the policies to promote the global economic stability. In one line, someday I'll ask you. Okay, I'll ask you. Okay, you need to tell to promote global economical stability. What is the role of the G20? Repeat again. To promote the global economic stability, sustainable growth, and addressing the financial challenges. From here to here, you should have the very good clarity. Sustainable growth and addressing the financial challenges. Members present about 85% of the global GDP, 75% of the international trade, and 2/3 of the world population. See here, these 19 plus 1. It is collectively representing 75% of the international trade and the 2/3 of the world population and 85% of the global GDP. Remember these facts. These facts will be helpful for you to write it in the introductions. When if some question comes on the G20 mains question or something, this will be useful. So I have divided this also. I have given you groupings: Argentina, Brazil, Canada, Americas, okay, Europe, Middle East, Africa. From Africa, what are the countries you have? So this will give you better clarity from which continent, which countries you have. Definitely, you must remember this thing. Already they have asked which of the following countries are the members of the G20? Such kind of questions have been already asked by the UPSC.
So what was the subgroup in G20 studies?
I will come to that. I'm just giving you currently the basic about the G20. So how the presidency? So presidency, it will be like every year the presidency will be rotated. Okay, so this year it is a Brazil. Last year it was I think India. Okay, that and then next year, see, 2024 Brazil, 2023 it is in the India. Okay, in the 2025 who is this? South Africa holds the presidency. Okay, so now whatever the groupings I have said, okay, now currently I have discussed about the startup group. Like this, in order to bring that kind of engagement, coordination in the economy and the financial stability, development, fiscal stability, we include multiple groups, civil society or any other financial institutions. Like this, we have C20 group, L20 group, B20 group, to bring that kind of economic coordination, economic discussion. Okay, T20, think tanks, U20, W20, Y20. Like this, there is also that group which we have mentioned today. Okay, startup group. Okay, so why is this group? And India is the one country that has promoted the startup. Okay, see, a startup 20 is an official G20 engagement group focused on the startup, acting as a voice for the startup ecosystems in the G20 countries. It was first launched in the 2020 under the India's G20 presidency, making it the first such a dedicated platform for the startups in the G20 history. So that is the reason it becomes important. India is the one country who has taken the lead because India has good number of the startups. India considers itself as the most successful in the startup promotion. Okay, there is also criteria for the startup. Your investment should not be more than 100 crore. There should be some kind of innovation. Okay, not every new company will call themselves as a kind of startup. Okay, there should be really some kind of innovation, and then the Ministry of Commerce, they will say yes, this has been qualified as a startup. Some innovation component should be there, and it should be new company. It should be new company, not very old company coming and saying we are the startup. No. Okay, it should be new company less than 7 years old. There should be some kind of innovation, and investment should be also less than 100 crore. Okay, when these criteria are matching, okay, then the Ministry of Commerce, they will give you the startup. Once you are selected as a startup, then you will have the tax incentives. Every person is, whoever is earning, they will pay the tax. In the same way, company also pays the tax. But if you get eligibility as a startup, then you will not pay the tax. Okay, for certain period of time, 3 years, something like that. And you will also get some kind of labor restrictions, some kind of laws and all will be liberalized for you. This is the concept of the startup. Okay, so we need those startups in order to generate those entrepreneurship. So that's why we are careful and we want to promote the startups, because every person, if seeking the job, who is the one who creates a job? So job creator is also important, not just the job seeker. We need job creators both in every sector. Again, understand, job creator, whoever the startups are there, they should come into the diversified sectors, not just the service sector. Okay, currently many startups are coming only in the service sector, in the education, and also in especially those food sectors. Okay, we have seen many yoga bars, these bars. Okay, so there was also some comment. Okay, it is coming only in the food service sector, manufacturing sector. These areas we don't see much of the startups coming, but that is a different topic. So you have understood what the startup means. Why are we concerned about the startups, and why we are pushing through the G20s? So are we clear? She got scared. So what kind of, see, they are talking about the finance, they are talking about the sustainability, how this thing can be important and all. So here, now what kind of question they can ask? Now see. Different task force means, understand, like a kind of committees, okay, not to promote the G20, push G20 startups, supporting regarding the finances, regarding its sustainable development, regarding this, a kind of foundation to provide the basic support. Now that is not that important for us. So we have to understand there is a grouping that can promote those things. Okay, they are to support the startups and all. So what kind of question they can ask in the prelims? Let me show you. See here, the objectives of the G20: promote international financial stability, sustainable economic growth, discuss economic and financial matters, and build a consensus on the global issues, address the broader challenges like trade, development, and amplifying the global south voices. Previously, G20 was not there. Okay, there was only G7, but all those developed economies got stagnated. Now we have seen 85% of the population is coming from the G20 and nearly 75% of the economy is coming from the G20. So without involving them, so there cannot be any financial stability. So that's the purpose of bringing the G20. Okay, after the financial issues that has happened globally that we have introduced. So 19 plus 1, and there are different groups present within the G20. See, this was asked in the G20. Okay, this one answer if you see, that is fine. With reference to the global common framework, there was a G20 discussion that was happened that year. Okay, there was a global common framework in that current affair year. Consider the following. It is an initiative endorsed by the G20 together with the Paris Club. It is an initiative to support the low-income countries with the unsustainable development. That is the concept. That year that have introduced the G20 common framework. That is an initiative to support the lower income countries with the unsustainable debt. That was the reason that have been introduced. Simply, that's they have given the statement. It is endorsed by Jutagar with the Paris Club. Once again, we'll see. What is this Paris Club? Okay, let me check that thing. That was there was, that must be something associated with that kind of meeting that year. It must be some headquarter or some kind of discussion happened in the Paris. So they might have given collectively that name that year in English. We'll change it. So that's what they are talking about, the reform that is happening in the financial institutions that we want. So there will be also a kind of legacy that is set. So these countries, the discussions, usually the major meetings, the major G20. No. Okay, we'll see. Okay, let me check why they have given the Paris Club. We'll come to that. Okay, you can check once G20 Paris Club. Once you Google it, you will get it. And let me know what is the answer. So that is how the questions will be asked. That is the major intention of me selecting that question. I have seen what kind of questions, like say when there are some kind of within individual G20, within the individual blocks, what kind of blocks are there. So what kind of questions, if it is making some kind of news that year, so we need to be aware. So right this year, in like say the meeting is going on regarding the startup, and the India was a group block which has supported this startup group. So that's why there can be some kind of potential question that can be asked from that area. Startup G20 is related to the startup 20 is related to what? They can ask about this thing. Now, ISRO plans to launch 3 new navigation satellites. See, I have told you, currently we all use GPS, right? So the same satellite technology we are also using for the not just the civilian purposes. If something happens, even during Operation Sindoor and all, we use the same technology. What if these foreign technologies and all deny us the necessary requirements, necessary locations and all? So it is not good for our sovereignty to rely on those satellite technologies, especially on the foreign countries for the satellite technology purposes. So we thought we will develop a regional navigation satellite system, which is covering 1500 kilometers. Because we cannot, at this stage, at this place, we are not focusing on providing a global navigation system which requires so many satellites. We can't install so many satellites and provide a global services. So we thought, instead of launching a satellite in the middle Earth orbit, we will launch a satellite in the higher Earth orbit, and we will focus on that aspect only. So like I told you there are how many orbits primarily that we use? How many orbits we use? Lower Earth orbit, middle Earth orbit, okay, and the higher Earth orbit. So basically, if you have to cover the Earth surface, higher you go, less number of satellites are required. But the communication delays can happen when you go for the higher Earth orbit. So usually for the navigation purposes, we choose this. So whenever you choose this, again still you might need between somewhere 20 to 40 satellites also to cover navigation.
So which country's GPS are we using now?
USA. GPS itself is a kind of global navigation system, which is a USA one. So in the same way, we also have the navigation systems of the others also. Europe's also is there. China is also there. China is a Beidou, Galileo. No. Okay. So yeah, see, it is always collaboration will be there. Okay. So it's not a totally government one. So there is since it also includes some kind of military aspects and all, there would be some kind of government control also. They can play the role, because this is a very important security problem. We'll tie up with this. But the satellites, the major technologies, the satellite images and all, we haven't launched anything. So we are taking their services. We'll pay some kind of money to them. So they are getting the revenue. So that's why they'll offer. But in the future they may not offer. See, currently we also have the Govt, GPS aided air navigation system. Okay, so basically in order to land your flights and all, again you need something. So ISRO, along with the you are using this you are using this platform, Google GPS platforms, and then they have launched this program called the Govt. Okay, so for the better accuracy for the Indian civil aviation. Okay, so that's why we use their systems. We have not launched our own system, but we are in the process of launching our own system. But at the same time, its coverage is not the global coverage. We are covering only for the 1500 kilometers. Now, see, understand. So here, if we place, we need some 20 to 40. If we place it here, we need so many satellites, and is also not advisable. So we have taken this path. Here, we are totally launching 7 satellites. Within these 7 satellites, 4 will be in the geosynchronous orbit, and 3 will be geostationary orbit. So geostationary means, so basically, if you are here, if you are able to see the satellite here at this much of angle, okay, so you will see the satellite always here. There will not be much change. The reason is, as you are rotating and revolving, okay, in the same way with the same speed, the satellite is in sync with you at the same place. So it is at the same point. This is the geostationary. Okay, its variation is a geosynchronous. Basically, it will take some kind of angle. Okay, it will take, maybe you can say, okay, this is the Earth surface. Okay, somewhere it will take some slight angle like this. Okay, so it will take some slight angle. There, it is constant at one point. Here, it will take some slight angle. So in this way, we are able to cover more area. That is the intention of putting this satellites in the geosynchronous orbit. So understand, geostationary orbit and the geosynchronous orbit I am talking. Orbit means a movement, path that is taken by the satellite or any other body to move. Okay, that is the point that you have to understand. So especially this is taken for the navigation and the military purposes. See here. Now what is happening? This program was envisaged very long back, but still it is not operational. We have launched some satellites, but satellites failure was there. After launching, there was a failure. While launching, there was a failure. So currently, only 3 or 4 satellites are working. They are sending some kind of communication messages from the satellite towards the Earth, but still we are not relying on these things. Still, they are not operational. Okay, so we are going to send few more satellites. So we are making sure that in the next 1 to 2 years, this gets operational, because these are very, very important for our security purposes. So have you understood the concept? Why is this needed and all? And these kind of communication satellites can be used at the multiple places, multiple things. Okay, the same thing, like wherever you use your mapping services and all, Google Maps and all, the same way everywhere it is used.
So we are using US's GPS satellites. So they will place on India's orbit, or they will place on.
No. See, that's what. See, they need not place it at one place. They have so many satellites. They will be moving like this, and they will be able to cover the entire world. So they will make sure that at least every place is being covered by 3 or 4 satellites. Definitely, that's what has happened regarding this operation. Yes, that is there. Okay. Yes. So there is also a security threat. Okay. So there would be that's why there is a government control. It cannot be left only to the private player. Okay, so there will be government monitoring and all. So how has the US launched accurately on the Iran that bomber? Okay, so B2 bomber. Okay, because they can they have this access to the locations, and how have they targeted this? Okay, Obama. They can see very clear images. Okay, so those are not accessible to you or to me. Okay. For the separate department, those clear-cut images, those high-resolution images are accessible to them. See, this is the context. ISRO plans to launch 3 new navigation satellites for the Indian Regional Navigation. See, name itself says Regional Navigation Satellite System, also called as NAVIC, by next year. This was information is given in the Parliament. Out of the 7 satellite systems, only 4 are still providing the full location data. This is the issue. Okay, so various satellites have not been working, and various satellites have been giving you the information. See here, this is how we are covering the 1500 kilometers. The NAVIC They are a group of satellites. They are covering the 1500 kilometers. 4 satellites in the geosynchronous orbit pairs. See like this. They are trying to see, if you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is how they will cover the Earth surface. Can you see here? This is the area, and we will also be providing these services to the nearby areas, maybe Maldives, maybe to the Bangladesh and all. We can offer them services at the cheaper rate. Now they can be utilized by our fishermen. They can be used in India for the landing purposes, our trains and all. Now they also have the atomic clocks. So for calculation of the time and all. So even those things will be helpful. They are not using our regular watches and all.
Pakistan won't oppose it.
No, it will not.
They are
See,
having some security issue. No, sorry.
see, it will be there, but see, it's like we are not saying that we are going to see. See, every country is doing different types of the satellites. One is for the resource monitoring. One is for the communication. While doing the resource monitoring, they are also taking the images for their security purposes. So it will be there. We are covering the entire areas. So there is no such restrictions that will not be there and all. Okay, so that will not come under a kind of not usable format and all. This can be done. That is accepted. So of course, like whatever the certain safe areas are there, whatever the some restricted areas are there. Okay, every country will have its own policy. They will not allow to release those things publicly. For suppose our military establishments are there, so they are not supposed to leak the sensitive information. If Pakistan has that level of technology where they can see those things, that is different thing. For suppose if USA is leaking our information, so we have our own geospatial policy, geospatial data. Through using that thing, using that bills, you will be able to restrict any country. You can block any country. That you will do. Again, if any country is doing outside India, then again you have to pursue in a different way, because we will not be able to do the sanctions for the country that is doing operations outside India. If any country is establishing their buildings in the India and they are launching these kind of services, then definitely we will put the very strong restrictions. Geospatial bill, they'll call it.
During Russian Timor, USA has similar satellite images to Ukraine. So then why there is no conflict?
It is there. Okay, so those things, that's why whoever is the party, whoever is supporting, so that's the reason they will support the other country using their technology. So that's the reason that we want our own technology. So they, in the same way, they can also do, for suppose if India and Pakistan are at war, so they may provide the technology for the Pakistan and they might block the technology for us. So they may provide all the security access in easy, whatever the location sites that are there, USA might provide to the Pakistan. So that threat is always there. So that's how you will do the diplomacy, so that information is not leaked. How can you do that? Okay, so maybe we can put restrictions. It is there, yes. So that's why we say these satellites can also be used for the spying purposes.
If we develop our own satellites, also it will be the same subject. If we develop our own satellites, US is still spying on us.
Yes, that can happen. So that's what, by developing the satellite technology, one intention is also for the spying. We also do in the border areas, in the Pakistan areas. That's how we will see the mobilization of the troops and all, what kind of settlements. So that's how we have conducted the Operation Sindoor, by understanding their air bases and all. So that's why the new warfare is a technology driven. So it becomes easy for us to launch a missile attack. But Pakistan does not have that level of system. From where they are getting the information? It's friend.
US.
China. Okay. So that's why these are the new forms of warfare. Okay. So what are the global systems? See here, US's GPS, Russia's GLONASS, Europe's Galileo, China's Beidou. Okay. These are the global systems. We have the regional system. See, for the defense purposes, civilian purposes, like say for the mapping, for the transport, disaster management, farming, and the location-based apps we can use. Okay, transportation. So especially we use in the transportation, right? This is the most useful thing. Okay, then efficient management of your urban transport that can also be done. So your Google Maps currently say take this way, take that way. Here the traffic is blocked and all. So that way the urban areas can be efficiently managed. Services for the mapping and all, the same thing. Now you guys are rising. When we do the mapping services, isn't it our sensitive information is also getting leaked? Yeah, that is also happening. But Maybe through using we can also bring a geospatial data bill. Okay, whatever the information is crucial for us, those informations should not be leaked out. Okay, those information are not supposed to come out of the public platform. They will not display it. They are maybe through back doors and all that might happen, but openly.
What will public do?
No, who knows whether it is the person who is accessing the information, whether it is a public or the non-state actor. The terrorist can pose themselves as a public civilian, and they can. This is what has happened. There was a print has also launched a campaign before our Pahalgam terrorist attacks. Okay, there was a saying according to the print that they have purchased high quality maps of the Pahalgam area. Even the minute areas, minute locations, they have captured. That means to escape, to enter. So they have captured from this, and that they have discussed. If you remember, whoever the data they have distributed, they have links with the Pakistan also. The major member of that particular company is a Pakistan member, and he is also a good friend of the Trump. Okay, that news that we have discussed long back, two months back. So we need to have that kind of sanctity, protection of our geospatial data is also very important. How you manage. So they say no, we have not sold any kind of sensitive information. They have said that particular company, they said, but that is there, that threat is there. It depends upon what kind of satellites you have, how much image they are able to carry. Okay, not every satellite, not every person is able to carry the good images. Okay, so we have developed at this stage, so we are able to cover all those things, but still again it depends on the technology. So recently I have discussed about the NASA's on important technology. ISRO has a NASA's collaboration. Now, what is the technology? SAR, synthetic aperture radar technology. Synthetic aperture radar technology. Now they are able to calculate the better images. Okay, now see, in the same way, ISRO has developed a technology, not ISRO, NASA has developed one type of technology, AI satellite. So now, if there is a cloudiness and all, so they will not capture the images. They will only capture those images which are relevant. So this is way. Sometimes not every image can be having the high quality. So they are also using the synthetic aperture radar technology. Only using those technologies, they will capture the high quality images, which is good, and which is not, they will leave it off. Okay, so there is also another news. So it depends upon what kind of satellites or what kind of sensors you are using, what kind of technology you are using and all. Okay, see here the way they have asked the questions. So easy. Which one of the following countries has its own satellite navigation system? So basically, none of the countries have the global navigation system. Japan has a regional navigation system like India.
If they don't share it with others.
This is a regional navigation system of the Japan. Okay, just like India. Okay, Japan has a quasi-zenith satellite system QZSS, a regional navigation system augmenting the GPS. Okay, so India has, but India's option was not being given. Okay, can you answer this thing? With reference to IRNSS, consider the following statements. See here, even it was in the news that year. Such a easy question. Answer me. So is it a full global coverage?
No.
So wrong. About 5,500 kilometers. It is a simple fact. So easily I will eliminate 2 and 3. Okay, so these two options are gone. So people are stuck between 1 and D. So whoever has studied the fact, so what is this IRNS? 7 is there.
You told we can share the information with the neighboring.
Yeah, we can.
Means it's going beyond the borders.
1500 kilometers. Yeah, it is going beyond the borders. 1500 kilometers. We will share the information. Okay, so the answer is one only. India has 3 satellites in the geostationary, 4 in the geosynchronous. So it was a very easy question that year, but it was making a lot of news at that time period. It's a very fundamental question that year. They have also asked it in the mains. Because of this, what do you understand by the standard positioning system and the protection positioning system in the GPS era? Discuss the advantage of India pursues its ambitions. See, standard and the protection. Standard means, so that's what I was saying. No, not geostationary. So your GPS offers 2 types of the services. One is only for the military and one is for the civilian. Not everything is open to the civilian. So the standard positioning services are the services available for the civilian, for us. Okay, and the protection positioning system, this is what the USA will not provide you this information. This comes under this protection positioning systems. Okay, no, it will not provide it to any other country. They may. Okay, that is not in our hands. So what kind of advantages that India possesses? India have from pursuing its own IRNS program. Okay, so those are the things that I have mentioned. See, next another thing, coconut prices are rising. See, here I have added some important takeaways. So we know the major countries that are producing the coconuts are the Philippines and the Indonesia. See here, I have given you here Philippines and the Indonesia. Later comes the India. Okay, so they have also asked this kind of question. Now we basically import the vegetable oils, different types of the vegetable oils, like say palm oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil. All these are the not that good oils. But still their productions are very high in India. But recently, because of the production fall in these countries, in this Indonesia and the Philippines, they are mobilizing the same coconut for the biodiesel generation. See, always I told you, sugar will be used for the bioethanol, oils will be used for the biodiesel. Okay, so this point that you have to remember, they are generating the biodiesel, and that's why Philippines also have kept the restrictions. And apart from this, El Nino, global warming have also reduced the productions. In India also, demand for the coconut oil is increasing. Okay, so I won't suggest, even generally whoever has little awareness, vegetable oils are not suggestible things. Okay, they are very harmful. So every oil has a kind of what is that point? Cholesterol. Not cholesterol. I forgot that major point. What is that point? So they see. So what is this calorific value? Not the calorific value. Okay. So what is that point? Heating point. Something. Okay. I'm not able to recall. See, that means at which point you can heat. If the heating point, okay, the point beyond which, if you might have seen, okay, the oil will release the smoking point. Yeah, with the smoke I could recall. Smoking point. Okay, what is the temperature? What is the heat of the smoking point? See, for the coconut oil, for the ghee, the smoking point is very, very high. So generally, when you do the fry, you are actually increasing the temperature of your pan, right? So if the smoking point is very high, the oil will not release the smoke. If the oil is releasing the smoke, like you see in those restaurants and all, you think when the smoke is coming out, you think it is a very tasty food. But basically, chemical changes are happening in the oil and it might be converted into the harmful substances. The smoking point for the coconut is very high. So that is a very good quality and it has some kind of antifungal and antibacterial properties. This awareness is increasing. So people are using this coconut.
So for ghee also there will be lots of smoke.
No, the smoking point is very high. These are the very stable oils. Basically, saturated fats are very stable. Coconut and the ghee. Highest smoking point. No, that is not true. Okay, ghee has the highest smoking point. First quality comes for the ghee. Next comes for this. People think the saturated fats are bad and they are consuming. So somehow the awareness is rising and the production and the demand is rising, but the prices are increasing. So here the takeaways for you is the major largest producer is Philippines, Indonesia, and then comes the India. Within the India, Lakshadweep has the highest output. Productivity for the Lakshadweep is very high. And within the states, Tamil Nadu has the highest productivity. Okay, so these are the 2 points. These are important because in some kind of exam, UPSC has already asked this kind of question. See here, in India, the largest amount of the oil consumption comes for the palm oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil. See here, the coconut oil comes somewhere at the bottom. Okay, so the palm, soybean, sunflower oil. That's why all these three are imported and that's why our import bill is rising. This is a very important fact. Yes. Okay. So we have a highest production coming from the Kerala. Kerala now ranks third in the production. Okay, it should be, I think, okay, yeah. So it should be for the Tamil Nadu and then comes the Karnataka and then comes the Kerala. While productivity wise, it is again Tamil Nadu. If they ask overall India, it is a Lakshadweep. That is the important point that you have to know. So here, so this is the geographical aspect. Where do this coconut grows? Coconut grows in the various soils. Loamy, alluvial, sandy soils, prefers well-drained. It tolerates the saline water but does not require it. Fresh water is fine. Indonesia is the world's largest coconut producer, followed by the Philippines. Here in India, Tamil Nadu. So these facts are important. Okay, Tamil Nadu, Lakshadweep is known for highest yield, productivity, not production, productivity means output. whatever the area is there, what kind of outcome you are generating. The productivity is high for the Lakshadweep. Production means quantity. 50 kgs is coming out of the Tamil Nadu. In the Kerala, you are using one hectare of area and you are producing the 40 kgs. Okay, that means output is more considering the input. So when I say yield or productivity, that is talking about the outcome. So that is more for the Lakshadweep. So this is the one question that I have given you. Okay, so argon trafficking, whatever it is, not the argon trafficking. Here it is talking about there is a kind of cyber security threat in the AIMS Organ Retrieval Banking Organization. No, this information was shared by the CERT. So I have taken this news article to give you the basic information about these agencies. The CERT is India's national agency under the Ministry of Electronics, MIT, for handling cyber security incidents. Established in 2004, it offers incident response, vulnerability advisors, audits, and the international coordination against the malware and the phishing. Okay, so basically it will give you the information, it will check your government's departments and all. So this can be a vulnerable thing. They will do the auditing in terms of the cyber check vulnerability. They will provide the index and they will tell you, so your website is at the threat. Apart from this, you also have some other important things. These three are very much important. National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center under the NTRO to take care of your critical sectors. For suppose your thermal power plant got hijacked, then it is a problem. So you have the National Critical. I'll ask you all these 4 points some other day. Okay, so definitely you need to answer me. Indian Cyber Coordination Center, I4C, under the Ministry of Home Affairs. This is under the NTRO. Okay, and then you also have the National Cyber Coordination Center, which monitors the traffic, share the threat info, and boost the cyber defense. Cyber Swachhata Kendras means cyber hygienes. Maybe you might not be installing the anti-malware, antivirus softwares in your systems and all. So what kind of cyber Swachhata you guys have? Okay, so it is trying to promote about the awareness about those cyber Swachhata Kendras. So these 4 are important. These 2 just once go through. But these 4 you must remember along with the CERT. Okay, so basically we don't have a kind of attack system. Okay, like you have the police. If you do any kind of law and order issue, so they will also take proper quick response. Here currently our cyber infrastructure is more in defense. So they are coordinating. You install those things in order to protect and all. So we don't have a proper strong response system for the cyber attacks and the cyber malwares. Okay, so we are on the process of working those things. Some other day we will discuss the issues in this. So this thing again you can do. Okay, see the editorial says we need to talk about. Okay, we need to lower the age. So if there is a consensual sexual act between those adolescents, so that should not be deliberately made a crime. So many times parents file the complaints. So like you have seen in the court movie. So even if the people are involved in the consensual sex and all. So in that movie they have shown there was no such a kind of consensual sex and all. They have just played a game and all. But what if there was something? Okay. So the point here is, so there is a debate. They are saying on one side it should be allowed. Okay, the intention is to check the exploitation. Generally, those teenage people and all, they can be easily exploited by the people, for suppose who is very elder. Okay, they can exploit it. But this is not for the people who are who have been consensual and all. So there is a saying that at least lower the age or indulge some kind of exceptions. But this editorial is saying that even the law commission does not want that kind of exception. Again, those loopholes can be used and it can be misused. So once the law commission said the judges should use a guided discretion if it is 16 to 18. So you cannot file the complaints on everyone. Use the guided discretion. Then you can check. This is what they have said. There is one more article that I will discuss tomorrow. Okay, this glacial lake outburst. This I will discuss tomorrow. Sir. Okay, thank you. So these 3 are important. Okay, the Supreme Court submission. Recently they are talking about changing the age. The Madras High Court's view and the Law Commission's view. These 3 views try to remember.